Hello, welcome back to another video of Lawn Hardy collectibles and Chaplin collectibles. In this video I'd like to talk about some of my original photographs or photos that I have. I don't have loads, but I have a small selection, and I'd like to show some of these in this video like I did with the previous one with the ones of them in court. And I have reproduced photos, but it's the original ones that are the more important ones, that I find that you have all the information on them on the back, and you have either stamped, signed, or it's either typed on the back, and sometimes it's stuck on with an extra piece of paper on the back of the photograph, and you have information behind that photo. So starting off with this one. This one is from Bonnie, Scotland, and you can see there you've got William Janney, James Finlayson and Laurel Hardy, and that is towards the end of Bonnie, Scotland, and that's a nice original example. Normally what you find with these original photos that they're a lot thinner than the reproduced ones, whereas the reproduced ones are slightly thicker paper or card, and these are actually quite flimsy and quite brittly, so you do have to be very careful how you handle and look after these. So that's a nice example from Bonnie, Scotland. And then this one here, this is one of my favourite ones. This is a publicity photo or portrait of Laurel Hardy in their prime, out of character shot. And some of these have got stamped on the back with stacks, which I will show you in a minute on one of them, for example. And then this one here, this is with Oliver Hardy and Daphne Pollard from Our Relations. It's actually not in the film. I'm not sure if it's was in the film and it was cut, or whether this is a behind the scenes shot in between takes. So it's quite a rare photograph of the two of them together there. And this one here, this is from A Haunting We Will Go. So this is their post Heritage Days, so this is the wartime films. So probably not one of the greatest, but it's still a good film. So that's another original photograph there. And then this one here is another one from Our Relations again. What's interesting about this one is you've got a sea view in the background there. You've got ships in the background. So they're obviously sat by a window there. I'm not sure, that might be a balcony there. I'm not 100% sure. But what's more interesting about this, that the scene was at the beginning of this film, but not shot at that angle. So this shot was never in the film. So it's nice to have the photograph, whether it was the on-set photographer or it was actually shot and deleted. So it's nice to have that photo, so it adds a bit of history behind the film of Our Relations. And this one here is the big boss man himself, Harold Roach, the producer at the Harold Roach Studios. And a nice original photo of him there as a young man. And then on the other side you've got Rosina Lawrence. I'm not sure whether that was from a film or whether it was for a costume shot or publicity still. I have no information on this photograph, so I'm not 100% sure the background on it, but that's a nice vintage photo of Rosina Lawrence, who's very famous for being in Wild West. This one here is a vintage photograph of the Little Rascals of Our Gang from the Harold Studios. A nice photograph there, and that's with the dog as well, which is really sweet. And then this one, I don't think this is in any of their films. I can't actually remember thinking off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure it isn't. It's more of a publicity shot. Nice example, another rare vintage photograph. This one here is of Stan Laurel as a young man there, as a handsome young man, and again another original, and it's one of my favourites because it's just him out of character, so you can tell a lot just by looking at the photographs on who they were and their personalities in their real lives. This one is actually a really funny photograph. It's one of my favourite shorts actually from Twice 2, with when Stan tries to get the key out of the lock after opening the door and rips Ollie's pants. Absolutely fantastic scene, very very funny, and that's another nice original example. This one here is a nice shot of a young Oliver Hardy. This has been signed on in the lower region here, so I can't read it, so it remains a mystery to this day. So eventually I may find out what it says on there, but it goes into a dark region, so I can't actually read it. But it's a nice original photo of Ollie. That one there is from Pack Up Your Troubles. And then I think on the back of this one, yeah, there we go. And on the back of this one you have got Hero Studios on the back there. So stamped clearly on the back. So it's nice to know that some of these photographs actually are owned by the Hero Studios or come directly from Hero Studios, which is nice to add to the history behind them. And another shot from Pack Up Your Troubles. And then this one here, this one is from a chump at Oxford. I have to be very careful with this one because it's actually torn in one corner. So yeah, so that's from Chump at Oxford. I'm not sure whether that was meant to have been in the film. It looks like it was an on-set photograph with Stan clearly playing indoor golf. So it's a really nice photograph to have. And then this one here, this is a nice photograph of Stan and his last wife Idle. And this has actually got information on the back of this photograph. This is on the Cunard White Star liner, so you can see clearly there he's on a cruise ship because you can see it in the background. Really nice photograph. Another, that's more of a publicity shot there from Way Out West. Nice rare photograph. And then you have three photos from Way Out West. And that one there is also from Way Out West. And this one is from Saps at Sea. So that's a nice vintage photograph from the 1940 film Saps at Sea. These ones here are a little bit later. These would be these are press stills, The Crazy World of Laurel and Hardy. So this is from the music box. And there's that one there from the music box. Another original, that is from Air Raid Wardens. And then these two here, these two actually have quite a lot of information on the backs of them, but unfortunately for this one, it clearly shows Ollie's birthday, and then on the back it is covered with stamps, bits of paper and writing all over it. Sad thing is I can't read any of it because it's actually in foreign. This one, really nice photograph of Stan and Ollie with three. They look like three business gentlemen there, and you can see Ollie is clearly introducing Stan to three businessmen. I'm guessing, I might be completely wrong, I'm guessing that's maybe on the lot on the Harrow Studios. So I'm not 100% sure. I don't know all the information behind the photograph, but clearly on the back here it's covered with stamps and scribbled writing, as you can see there. But the interesting thing about this photo is that it's got please credit photo by Stax on the back. So you have the famous Stax name, who was responsible for many of their photos of them in their prime, and famous for the big one with the the one we all know with the double derby shot with them together. So that's that. So that's some of my original photographs. I may have some more of those to show, so I need to try and find those. And just referring to a previous video, I just want to get it right. But you don't realise until you look into it that I've got this. This is a reproduced card photo, so this is not old, but I've had this for many years, and it's clearly got another fine mess. It's quite interesting how Laurel, even Laurel Long Hardy fans can get it wrong, but it's actually, Ollie actually says another nice mess, but I said in my previous video another fine mess, which is referred to one of the photos of Ollie where he's got his hands to his head, where he's in court, and it looks like that he's in another nice mess, which is actually the correct word, and not a fine mess. But it's interesting how we can get confused when the wrong heading is put down. But there you go.